What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Let's Just Be Real podcast. I'm your host, Marissa Tonge. If you guys are listening to this the week that it comes out, Happy New Year. If you celebrate New Year. Some people, they don't celebrate New Year, so Happy New Year, or Happy Winter Solstice. We just celebrated that a couple weeks ago. The New Year is always a weird time. Like, I feel like yesterday was just such a weird day. Like, nobody's outside, everybody's at home, either like hungover or tired or just like, yeah, just like home. It's weird. But yeah, Happy New Year. Here we are. Oh my God, did you guys just hear that? Hopefully not. My dog is over here playing with toys as usual. Anyway, y'all, Happy New Year. Welcome back to another episode. On this podcast, we have real thoughts, real conversations surrounding adulthood, healing, self-care, wellness, entrepreneurship, and so much more. So welcome back. I'm your host. So we are kicking off a new series for the new year, for the new month, and we're going to be talking all about self-love and confidence. If you guys don't already know, I am a confidence coach. So I help women build confidence. I help them to create the life that they want. I help them to really change their mindset, to rewire their brain, to really figure out like ways to navigate through life while believing in themselves. And that's really hard because I think a lot of people don't believe in themselves, which is why like we end up not getting what we want, not manifesting, kind of just like sitting on, the back burner and just allowing life to kind of just take us places, right? Just the circumstances of life. But with confidence, right? Like we can really start to take control of our lives and make those decisions that we need to make, to take action, to also uplift other people, right? That's how we're really able to get ahead in life, also by like collaborating, uplifting, inspiring people. So I help women do all of that, and I absolutely love it. I really enjoy what I do because building my confidence has been one of the most life-changing things for me. Like, I was not always this like confident baddie, like, and I know that, if you guys go to my Instagram, you might see like, oh, she dances in heels, like she's sexy and she has all this confidence, and like it wasn't always like that. And to be honest with you, it's not always like that every single day. There are days where I feel less confident. There are days where I still have insecurities. I've talked about on my podcast before, like dealing with some of those insecurities. But the best coaches are the ones who have already experienced those things, people who have gone through the mud, right? People who they have the experience and they know how to come out of those like lower places and build themselves up. So I've been able to build my confidence through just learning mindset work, really doing the work is really what it comes down to. But also like realizing and knowing my freaking worth. Okay. So I'm here to help you guys do that. So let's talk about why it's so important for us to love ourselves, why it's so important for us to build confidence, right? I wanted to start this series at the beginning of the new year because I know a lot of people think about goals, resolutions, things that they want to bring in, manifestations, bring in more money, all that stuff, right? And most of the time, like we don't realize we cannot really accomplish as much as we would like to accomplish until we have a high level of confidence and a high level of self-worth, right? And really loving ourselves. Because if we don't love ourselves, right, we're going to take opportunities that aren't for us, or we're going to end up in situations that aren't for us, or ending up in relationships that aren't for us, right? So really learning to love yourself, right, is going to kind of keep those situations and those people, at somewhat of a distance. And not saying that those situations aren't going to come up and you're not going to meet people who, try to bring you down or aren't going to talk to you nicely and all that stuff. Like you might have a manager or a boss, that you work with that doesn't talk to you nicely, or you might have a sibling that doesn't talk to you nicely, and that really might be taking a toll on your confidence and your self-esteem. And I also think that just over the years, with social media expanding and becoming such a big part of everyone's life, I think that has also taken a toll on a lot of people's self-esteem, their level of confidence, their level of self-worth, right? Because it's so easy to just go on social media and you see everybody posting highlight reels and you see people posting all these amazing things that they're doing, right? All these amazing places that they're traveling, all these, amazing pictures with their friends and their family and living their best life, getting their dream job, especially with content creators, and I consider myself a micro influencer, right? A content creator, a micro influencer. But what I post is mostly to inspire people and to motivate people. It's never for people to feel like shit about themselves. I never post for people to feel jealous or to feel intimidated or to feel like, oh, damn, like she's just showing off. Like anything that I post, it's to inspire people. And yes, it's highlight reels, right? It's to highlight the things that are going well in my life, right? Like the retreats. Like I love highlighting the retreats. I love highlighting my dance classes. I love highlighting the moments that I'm in class and I'm just like sharing wisdom and speaking from my heart, right? So it's never to make anyone feel bad about themselves. It's really to uplift people. And I think sometimes on social media we can feel triggered by the things that we see, right? Whether that's seeing someone have something that we really, really want, right? That we don't have yet, or that we thought we should have at this certain point in our lives, right? So we can feel envious, we can feel triggered. We can also feel triggered by like seeing people in relationships. If you're someone that's single, right? And maybe like you're seeing all these people, usually around the holidays, like we see all these people like getting engaged or announcing pregnancies and things like that. So I think that can also take a toll on self esteem and confidence. And I think one of the best ways, one of the best tips to start to build your confidence and self esteem back is by really limiting your social media use. Okay. And I've talked about like one of the most viral videos that I have on YouTube is me talking about like social media privacy and use and limiting all that, because it really can take a big toll on like your mental health, your self esteem, your relationships, the way that you view yourself, right? So we just have to understand that like social media it's not reality. Okay. It's not reality. I know it might seem that way because we're on it, checking it all day, every day, right? It might seem like it's a big part of our reality, but it's really not. It's curated. Okay. So once we understand that it's curated and that people really do go through things, right, that we don't see. I talked about that on the last episode when I had Jason on. We were talking about, people struggle and we might not always see people struggling because people aren't always going to post it. I'm definitely someone who, I have my days where I'm struggling. I have my weeks where I'm struggling. I have this podcast now where I can come on and really talk about it if I'd like to, if I'm open to sharing it. But sometimes, like, a lot of people aren't going to share it. Most of the time, people aren't going to share when they're struggling. So just knowing when and how to cut social media, kind of like just detaching from it, that's also really, really going to help with your level of confidence. Another way that we can build confidence and really start to express more love to ourselves, right, is by giving ourselves the things that we really, really need, right? So meeting your essential needs. So your mental health, making sure your mental health is being taken care of, right? Your emotional health, your physical health, your spiritual health. So really, really just making yourself a freaking priority. I don't know how many times like I'm going to talk about this on this podcast, but like I am, okay? You have to make yourself a priority because no one else will. And yes, there are people who will prioritize you, right? But you come here by yourself, right? You come into this world by yourself. There are going to be people who prioritize you, but the most important relationship that you have is the relationship you have with yourself. So you have to pour into yourself. You have to pour into yourself, okay? And that's going to include making really tough decisions sometimes, okay? So leaving relationships that are not making you feel good, like maybe being in a situation that is not good for you, right? Where you might be verbally abused, you might be physically, and all that, but you have to know when it's time to go, okay? Otherwise, if you stay in that situation, your self-worth is just gonna diminish and diminish and diminish and decrease and lower, 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 right? Until you have none, right? You have no confidence. And I've met a lot of women who lack confidence, period. Like you meet them and their head is down, they can't make eye contact with you, they're not walking straight, like they're very low tone, they're not speaking up for themselves. Like those are signs of someone with low confidence. So if any of those things apply to you, or you could relate to any of those qualities or characteristics, like it's probably a sign that you do need to build your confidence, you do need to work on your self-esteem. So some ways we could do this: affirmations. I know affirmations seem really silly sometimes. It's like, oh, I'm just gonna stand in the mirror and like repeat these words. No, it's not just that. You have to actually freaking believe it. You have to actually believe it. And with practice and with consistency, you will start believing it. And I believe that affirmations can be used in different ways. So, for instance, in my self care guide and wellness journal that I have, there are affirmations that you can read and repeat. Or there's also options for you guys to write your own affirmations. So for some people, affirmations are going to stick a little bit better when they're able to actually like write them down themselves. Or for some people, reading them and repeating them is going to serve a better purpose. And then for others, standing in the mirror, having eye contact with yourself. I do mirror work with my students in our dance classes and our dance programs, our intensive programs. Like we focus on speaking to ourselves in the mirror. How many times do you actually stand in front of the mirror and make eye contact with yourself? How many times do you say nice things to yourself in the mirror? How many times do you look in the mirror and tell yourself you're beautiful, that you accept yourself, that you're doing a great job? All of these things matter. The way that we talk to ourselves really matters. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, words don't mean anything. Words mean everything. Words are so powerful. Okay. And if you don't believe me, if you don't believe me, baby, okay, say some negative shit and see if negative shit doesn't come into your life. Like by law of attraction, right? You are going to attract and you are going to have more in your life of whatever it is that you are and whatever it is that you're putting out. That's just law, okay? So if you're someone who constantly talks down on yourself, you constantly put yourself down, you constantly are apologizing for yourself, you're constantly apologizing to people, right? I had talked to my girl about this a couple years ago, and we were talking about like how women are always saying, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And I definitely noticed in the past that I had done this, right? Like even just like walking past someone, like squeezing past someone to get somewhere. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Or like holding a door, or like going past a door. Oh, I'm sorry. Like just for stupid freaking things. Why are we sorry? Why are we saying that we're sorry? For what? What are you sorry for? Right? And when you keep apologizing and you keep saying you're sorry, you're subconsciously allowing yourself to believe that you're doing something wrong, that you're in the wrong, that you don't deserve to take up space. And I think that's the biggest thing with women. We apologize and we say we're sorry on autopilot because we're taught to believe that we don't need to take up space, that we're taking up too much space. And when we are taking up too much space and we're pushing past people and we're too close to people or we're in other people's way, quote unquote, that we need to apologize. Stop doing that. If you're watching this video today, stop freaking apologizing, okay? Only apologize when you know for sure that you did something wrong. When it's really like hurting you, right? Because we know when we do something wrong. We know when we're in the wrong. We know when we hurt people. We know when we say mean things. We know when we say something out of line. So those are the only times that you should be apologizing to people. Do not apologize for expressing yourself. Do not apologize for being truthful. Do not apologize for being your authentic self. Do not apologize for taking up space. We're not doing that in 2024, honey, okay? So stop saying sorry right freaking now. And one of the last ways that I'm going to talk about, we'll be obviously talking about more throughout this series, but one of the last ways that we can build confidence and our self-esteem is by agreeing not to settle. Not settling with a job, not settling with a relationship, not settling with food that you don't like, right? You ever been to a restaurant and like you get food and you know like you don't want to eat it, it's not good, it was not what you expected, and you just keep the food, right? You don't want to send it back, especially I think women were guilty of this, like not wanting to speak up, not wanting to be difficult, especially Black women, okay? Not wanting to be difficult, not wanting to be a complainer, right? So you end up keeping your food that you ordered at the restaurant and you don't even like it, and then you're paying for it when you could have just nicely, politely told the server, I'm sorry, like I thought I was going to enjoy the meal. I really, don't like it. Is there any way that I can order something else? I used to work in a restaurant, okay? I cannot tell you how many times these privileged people, okay, used to come in the restaurant and like order things, send it back, order things, send it back. And not saying that you need to be that type of person. Like there's people who deliberately, purposely just want to be difficult and annoying and use their privilege and all of that. I'm not saying to be that type of person, but I am saying you need to speak up for yourself. So if you don't like something, if something is bothering you, if you're not feeling something, speak up, okay? Send the food back. And there's a way to do it where you're still respectful, you're still polite, you're still showing respect to the restaurant or whatever, and you're still going to pay for your food regardless. But we just have to get out of our minds that like we can't speak up for ourselves. We can't let someone know when something is bothering us or when something's not good, right? So settling for jobs, relationships, food, okay? Settling for life situations, settling for a body that you know that you don't want, right? And this is not to be superficial or surface or anything like that and saying that your image is everything, but we all know what our capabilities are. We all know that we are capable of getting, and you know what, let me take that out. Maybe we don't all know, right? And this is why we need confidence coaches like myself to help us remember these things. And we need these reminders. You are capable of getting the body that you want. Okay, getting the life that you want, getting the man that you want, getting the house that you want, getting the car that you want, getting the job that you want, getting all the money that you desire. You are capable of all of these things, okay? So when we settle, again, subconsciously, we are telling ourselves that we do not deserve the best, that we do not deserve money, we do not deserve love, we do not deserve a healthy relationship, okay? When you settle for things and when you accept things and when you're just like, "Oh, it's okay. It's all right. It's fine." You're subconsciously telling yourself, right? You're training yourself to believe that you are not worth it, that you are not worth the better things in life. And we're going to stop that, okay? We're going to cut that out right now. So, therefore, if you guys want to work with me and you want me to be your confidence coach and you want someone to keep it real with you, okay? Because that's what we do here. We keep it real. But honestly and truly, like with my confidence coaching, it's not just me sitting here telling you about yourself or trying to make you feel bad. We do actual work. We have homework, right? We work on affirmations. I have you create your own affirmations. I give you podcasts to listen to. We do mirror work. So there's a lot of different elements that goes into coaching with me. So if you're interested, you guys can email me. My email is in the show notes, or if you guys are watching on YouTube, it'll be in the description. So hit me up. You guys can also go directly to my website, Real Rhythm Dance and Fitness, and go to the confidence coaching tab. You guys can fill out the application there if you're interested in working with me. I'm only selecting a few. I only work with a few people at a time. So I won't be overwhelming myself in 2024. That's something I'm not doing. So only people who are serious, only people who are committed, only people who have the time and are willing to invest in themselves. So if you're interested, then fill out the application and let's work, honey. But yeah, kicking off the the self-love and confidence series for the month of January. I'm excited because we're going to be having some really special guests who also tie into the theme. So really excited for that. Some new, fresh conversations. And if you guys are listening on Spotify or Apple, make sure you hit the rating button, right? Like rate me, okay? Leave me some stars. Let me know how you're feeling about the podcast, okay? Show your support. I support you, so support me, okay? And then if you guys are watching on YouTube, don't forget to like and subscribe, share this video with a friend, drop a comment, let me know what your favorite part of this conversation was today. And also follow me on Instagram at RespectKitty. And I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye, y'all. Take care.